All right, welcome back to
Hey,
Let Him Run. There's Fred York. Uh, we're back. Hey, I think everybody can hear us today. Last
oh,
week,
that's good, Sean.
yeah, we had some issues last week with the audio, so I think I'm back with the Wi-Fi here. I got the two gig Wi-Fi at my cave here, so always good.
Thank goodness. Yeah, that was too bad. Had a lot of good information. It's too bad, but it's all good. Moving ahead, looking ahead now back to Gulfstream Park, right, Sean?
Yeah, that's right, and we have some interesting races. I think I'm gonna pull this up right now. Uh, read the story on Sports Talk Florida. Um, expect chaos early with first time starters in both the opener and the closer. But if you can survive the scramble, there's a real shot to cash something juicy. By the way, I just got back from the Acme. I cashed in one of my lottery tickets. I checked out the lottery tickets, and one of them was 100. I had four numbers. If I had one more
Really?
number, I would have won a million. I
We
was
would have been if you had the last number, Sean. We would have been here right now.
Yeah, that's right. I would have been at my lawyer's office setting up the trust right now. But yeah, no, it's something where I'm
Uh,
like, man, it's $300.
that's
Well,
crazy, man.
oh
That's
man,
awesome.
just got one more. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Sean. Yeah, you're right. You said it's chaos. I mean, it's interesting in the first in those two stakes races. They're almost like maiden special weight type race or maiden race because many of the horses have not run. But we'll cover all those when we get into it. But while we get started with that, Sean.
yeah, definitely. Gulfstream Race 6 is at 3:30 Eastern time. It's a very, very quick sprint, 5 furlongs, the Royal Palm, but it is worth a lot of money.
Sure.
100 grand race here, Juvenile Philly Stakes. So this is the first race where you talked about hey, listen, it's pretty wide open. I see a lot of 6-1s. I see a lot of 9-2s and stuff like this. You want to talk about this race?
Yeah. So there was three scratches in the race. The five, which might have been one of the favorites. That number five for us was a half to Fierceness. So that's a quality racehorse right there. He was 7-2. He scratched. The 8 and the 9 also scratched. Neither one of them were probably going to be a factor. But again, you never know. One was 15-1, one was 20-1. So that also means, Sean, that the two also eligibles got in, the 13 and the 14. I landed on squarely on the horse. I think that's got a really big shot. I'm very also happy that the scratches came in because now that horse is now instead of in the 11 hole, which isn't bad in a 5 furlong race when you look at the configuration of the track. When you're starting on the rail or the turn comes up, Sean, like so fast. So when you're on the rail, even the 2 hole or 3 hole, it's kind of tough. Even if you get out, you're turning very quickly. So I really like the 11 horse, Kitty Cleo, an Ireland bred horse, being trained by Safi Joseph Jr. He's given the ride to Francisco Arrieta, a name that you may not have heard a lot down in Gulfstream Park, but a really high quality jockey. When Francisco Arrieta and Safi Joseph Jr. team up, they hit at 56%. Okay, small sample, 9, but still, I mean, we know Safi's go-to jockey typically is Zayas, right? Zayas was on the 5. This is what makes this kind of interesting. Todd Pletcher got Zayas to ride the 5 known as Love. He never rode it before, and then now that horse scratched. So I don't think that would have made a difference if Zayas was available or not, but certainly Safi Joseph put on one of his better jockeys if they hit at 56%. And that horse also has the highest turf Thompson, like anywhere over 300 is typically good. He's 419 and 23% sire first time turf, winning first time out. 23% of the sire's horses win first time out on turf. So at 6-1, that's a really good price on that horse. And again, the 3 scratches putting the 11 a little closer, not real close, not close enough to be a problem, Sean, but close enough to give him another shot. One other interesting horse, which I think has a great name. It's spelled Bibidahl, but I guess you pronounce it Bibida. If you say it a few times, I guess it sounds like Baby Doll. But he was purchased, Sean, for, you ready? $1.3 million.
Oh,
1.3 million, Sean.
It's a lot of money.
So, I mean, out of an American Pharaoh sire, sure. So, I did the quick math, which I just found interesting, kind of has no bearing on what's going on. But if you add the sale price of every other horse in this race, including before the scratches and also eligibles, that price is about $350,000. Not that it makes a difference. That horse doesn't know how much he is. The horse I got bought for $12,000, the horse I like the best, I mean, he was $15,000. But again, Ty Tomlinson got a big chance. So that's who I like in this scramble, and it is a scramble.
I was going to say my kitty is named Cheeto Obi Martin, not Kitty Cleo, but Cheeto Obi Martin is my kitty.
Hey, close enough.
short, and it's Cheeto colored, so we call her Cheeto. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She's outside running around. I don't even know where she's at, man.
I would like. I'm going to be outside as soon as this podcast is over. Real nice here in Jersey.
Yeah, that's right. Race 7, another 7 furlongs on dirt, maiden special weight, 56,000. Some good purses here for the first 6 and 7. There is no scratches here. All 8 horses are in, and some pretty low odds on a couple of these horses, including Humor Me Brother, the favorite, at 9-5. But La Loga 5-2, Bon Vivant 9-2, Dance to Remember 5-1, Bottomless Mimosa 6-1 here, and then a couple of bombs.
Mimosas can be good, especially on Mother's Day tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you have a nice mimosa tomorrow. But I agree. Now those 2 horses we've just mentioned, my number 1 pick, the number 6, Humor Me Brother. He's clearly the one to beat. Likely the speed of the speed. Again, we often talk about this tricky 7 furlong distance. He ran a very nice race last time out and made an optional claim. So he's stepping up a little bit in class, but he put up a 76 Beyer speed figure. He has Jaramillo on, one of the better jockeys down there in Gulfstream Park. So I really like that horse. But again, 9-5, again, could be a single in some of your horizontal bets if you're thinking that way, or Keem on top with a couple other horses underneath. The number 4 horse is the other good horse in the race. I think the 6 is just a little faster. I see those 2 horses getting out and kind of vying for the lead, but I think the 6 is a little faster. The 4, they're putting the blinkers on him. That'll probably sharpen up his speed a little bit, so that may help. His last time out, he stumbled at the start. Wasn't a very good run, but the one before, he put up a 71 Beyer speed figure. Again, pretty good number for this level of a race. So, those are the 2 likely horses that are going to probably get to the wire first. I do like the horse you mentioned, Bon Vivant. Again, it could be a big day, Sean, for Saffie Joseph Jr. and Francisco Arrieta, because they're teaming up again in this race on a second-time starter. Didn't have a very good run last time out, but has been working out, lights out for the second time out. And Saffie Joseph Jr., he hits about 24% second time out, 26% in this type of a layoff. So those are the 3 key horses. I mean, I would even think about maybe doing those 3 horses in an exacta and a trifecta. I don't see any other horses really making their way to the wire in this race, Sean.
Race 8, 437. We talked about some of the races earlier. 1 mile and 70 yards synthetic. This is a $10,000 claiming race. If anybody out there is watching, between me, you, and Fred, we probably could pick up a horse. One of these horses here.
It's not easy to pick them up. It's hard to take. It's easy to pick them up. It's hard to take care of them.
Probably probably have a couple bucks left over for some beer afterwards.
We'll get to that horse too later. And then later in the card, there's a really cool hunch bet that's going to be played. We'll get to that later. But yeah, so this is kind of the lower
is a different
level
kind of race here from what you usually do because there's some more. Look, it's a $10,000 claiming race, and there's some Onesto 5-2, Light Fury 7-2, Indy Lion 9-2. The 12 and the 13 and the 8 are out. But I think you're targeting some horses with a little bit more value here, obviously, because these horses are pretty much all the same. So why not target some value in a race like this, right?
That's a tremendous point. They're all pretty much the same. They've all run in some of the same type races in terms of claiming. There's nobody, coming out of any of these races that have come out of a Breeders' Cup race or even high level stakes races. So yeah, and I did fall on the 7 horse Light Fury. He's 7-2, not a terrible price if he stays there. I just like him because I see this horse as the speed of the speed. The last 2 times he ran on synthetic, or 2 out of 3 times, he put up an 88 buyer speed figure about 5 races back. He's likely going to get to the front and probably not look back. Gonzalez on him, again, one of the premier jockeys, one of the better jockeys down there at Gulfstream Park. He just got claimed 2 back by Carlos David, who's a hot trainer down there at Gulfstream Park. He hits at 30%. He hits at 30% also second time claiming. So you put those 2 angles together, and I really like the 7 quite a bit to win. But I again, scratches, like we always talk about, make a difference. And the other horse that I like, the 11 Mobu, is 10-1. I looked at that replay the last time out. He finished in 12th place. 12. I don't know what happened. I looked. I tried to find. There was really no excuse. He didn't get bumped around. He just looked like he didn't have anything in the tank. And it also looked like, as the race went on, I think Jaramillo, who rode him then, Panici's riding him today. Luca Panici's riding him today. Also, again, a very good jockey down there in Gulfstream Park. I don't know what happened, but he didn't push him. Once he seemed like he didn't have anything in the tank, Jaramillo said, "Okay, fine, we're done." Those 3 races prior to that last race would fit in this race really well. So I think he's only 10-1, Sean, because of the last race. If you draw a line through that race, Sean, and you look at those 3 previous races, he would be 5-2 or 7-2. So I love that horse at 10-1, and our other long shot play, the 8 Scratch. So those are the 2 horses I really like. One's a speed horse. One is just a horse who had a bad run last out, and I think that's why his odds went up to 10-1. He's definitely not. He shouldn't be 10-1. But I'll take it.
We will take it. Race 9, 509. Optional claiming 62,000. So a little bit that one claiming race in there, and then we just kind of jump back up 1 mile on turf to some of the bigger money races. I noticed here there is the 6 is out. So yep. seven horses, and you really kind of you honed in on 2, and one of them is not the favorite, D Regresso, who is regressing maybe in this race.
I hope he doesn't regress now. But no, listen, if you remember, Sean, we definitely touted this horse Do Gooder last time out when he raced at Gulfstream Park back on April 19th, and he won pretty nicely then. I kind of see the same thing happening here. Definitely taking a step up in class, and there's a couple other horses which I'll touch on who are stepping down in class, who've raced in some higher stakes races, who've raced in some graded stakes races, and they're taking a little step down. But I still like this horse because I really think he's clearly the speed of the speed. And in a mile race on turf, and speed has been holding up at Gulfstream Park. It's been dry and firm down there, so that track is going to be, like a merry-go-round if that horse gets the lead. And I really think he will get the lead. Jen Antonucci, one of my favorite trainers, famous in terms of winning the first female trainer to win the Belmont Stakes back a couple of years ago. She's training this horse, and I just don't see this horse getting caught by anyone if he gets a clean break. And Jose Morales, again, one of the better jockeys down there in Gulfstream Park. So that's my number one horse. But as you mentioned, DeGresso, not another, money horse, 9-5, likely favorite. He's probably getting bet at 9-5 because of the stakes races that horse was in before. It was in a 75,000 stakes race before, grade 2 before that, 125, et cetera, et cetera. So, horse has lots of back class. Hasn't won in a while, but also, has been racing on turf against some high quality horses. Gonzalez stays on him again. Gonzalez was on him last time. But again, I just think that, I'm looking at that horse, Do Gooder, as being the winner. But I also would leave out, we put a little asterisk next to the 8-horse Fantasy Performer. Last time out, won by 7 lengths. I mean, you watch the replay of that race. Very impressive. Again, on synthetic, not on turf. He's raced on turf a couple times before. I'm sorry, she's raced on turf a couple times before and didn't do too well. Some higher level races, there were allowance races. So I'm going to give that horse a chance at 15-1 to somewhere get into the mix. She's a closer. She likes to close. She's got a great spot to close from. Let the race unfold in front of her, and then take a chance if a speed duel breaks out to come up and pick up some of the pieces, at least in the exotic bets, if not win, Sean. So definitely want to use that horse as well.
All right, and then final race of, if I have another turf race, a lot of turf races today. 5 for another sprint as well. 5 furlongs on turf. The Royal Palm Juvenile Stakes. So it starts with a $100,000. Wait, what? It's the same race.
No, it's the exact same race, except that race was for fillies. The first one, this is for colts, and the first race.
Do you think they name it something different? Like
that would have been nice.
Different name, like and it's the same thing. I mean, everybody is wide open. Wild stakes race with 9 first-time starters.
There's a lot of scratches in this race, though. The 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14. So there were 6 scratches. So now it's a smaller field. It's a field of 8.
Yeah, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. So 8 horses. I hear a lot of friends are all over one horse. And I think I mentioned him.
Yes. If you remember years back, I don't remember exactly when, a big horse name called I'll Have Another won the race. And then, as I recall, I think we were at Philadelphia Park, now known as Parks, at the time, watching that race. And everybody around the whole place was yelling, I'll have another, I'll have another. So you know what's going to happen this race, Sean? Beers on me, beers on me, beers on me. And the horse actually has a pretty good chance. I mean, morning line 10-1. Again, all these races previously, they all ran 4.5 furlongs. It's just going to be really interesting. One of the better jockeys is on that number 2, Beers on Me, trained by Luis Mendez, a pretty good trainer as well. I landed on the horse that's probably going to end up being big-time favorite, and that's the 4. I know it's morning line 6-1. I cannot imagine, especially with all the scratches now down to a field of 8, that the number 4 horse being trained by Patrick Biancone. If you ever watch the feed from Gulfstream Park, I know you've seen his daughter, really cool, Andy Biancone, really sharp eye for horses. She goes in the paddock and looks at the horses. She'll be cheering her dad's horse on, Squire, with Luis Saez on board. But I can't see that horse being 6-1. Maybe it will be, but that'd be a great price. But again, I think it's going to get watered down because of the scratches. The other horse.
I see Snoop Dogg's got a horse in the race.
Where's that?
Win and Juice.
Oh, Win and Juice. Close enough. And that horse I kind of like too, because that's a first-time starter. That's one of the first-time starters in the race. A couple of the first-time starters got scratched, so now there's 5 out of the 8 are first-time starters. So you got to take a look at one of those first-time starters stepping up and winning juice. Might have a big chance. And 12-1 morning line, being trained by Nolan Ramsey, really good trainer, working out tremendously for this race. So that horse definitely has a shot, and there's no doubt about it. In fact, I did have a little highlight next to winning juice. Maybe it was because at the time, maybe I was thinking of Martha Stewart, or whatever, Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Snoop Doggy Dogg. There's a Arkadelphia is in the race. I just wanted to say something real quickly because there's a name here that I don't really see too often anymore on one of the horses, and I know he was a big time jockey. I don't know if he's still Raj Mirage is on the the 9. Is he like I don't see him picking up a lot of mounts, right? Like he's not.
No, you're right. That's the horse I was going to talk about because I do like that horse. No, Raj does not get a lot of mounts. Still a quality jockey. He went into the booth to be an analyst for a little while, for a couple of years, and then got back to racing. Of course, when you step away for a couple of years, it's going to be hard to pick up mounts. But he is good on turf. Todd Pletcher is putting Raj on this first-time starter. Has a really good turf. Tomlinson has been working out like clockwork. So he's got a chance to. Again, we said this in the beginning of the show, Sean. This race and the first race, both $100,000 stakes races. The first one for fillies. This last stakes race on turf, 5 furlongs, $100,000 for colts. Both races very interesting. Again, this last race 10, got watered down a little bit because of the scratches, but still really good races. Again, I'm going to put together a nice pick 5 ticket. I'll put it up on X so we can take a look at it. I think I might end up singling the horse that we talked about in that 7th race. I'm sorry, the 8th race, the 9th race. Sorry, Do-Gooder. I think I might single that horse and then play deep in the first leg, deep in the last leg, and put a couple horses together in the other legs to try and put together a medium price ticket. But if Do-Gooder does good, then I think we could do good with that, Sean.
All right, now, Fred, I'm gonna get a little philosophical here because look, we're a week out after the race, after the Derby, and
Sure.
The top 3 horses are not running at the Preakness. So horses that finish 1, 2, and 3 are not racing at the Preakness, and which is a disaster for horse racing.
It's a disaster in a way. You're right.
It's a disaster for horse racing. You can't have the top 3 horses not running, and the next thing, and no chance at Triple Crown. There's been some big stories and some big people have come out today or this week and talked about how the Preakness the Belmont should be the next, however you do it. The Belmont should
space it out more. They want to space it out more.
4 or 5 weeks after, and then the whatever you do, Preakness next, Belmont next, Preakness next. Every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks. There's too much data now that says, the horses shouldn't be running this quickly and all this stuff, and it's abuse, whatever. Which probably is true. And the other thing too is, you have these races, at the first week of May, the first weekend in May, the third weekend in May, and then the first week of June, and then it's just this dead period. And I know there's the Pennsylvania Derby and all this stuff in July and Sarah stuff like this. Well, if you had it, first week of May, first week of June, first week of July, and then you had those races in Saratoga, and those horses, it's almost spaced out like perfect cadence there. And then you go to, the fall and everything like this. Is that something that has to be done for this? And obviously, the old school people will say, well, it's not, the old Triple Crowns don't count, or the new Triple Crowns won't count. It's a different race. Well, it just seems like something that, there's got to be something done because, you're not, these horses that win this race aren't even, they're just like, look, as soon as Belmont gave the interview and he's like, look, if you had half a brain, you heard he's like, he's not racing. The guy
No,
at work,
no,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, it's Triple Crown. And I was like, there's no chance. Did you hear his
No,
interview?
no.
He's like, no, that's not what it meant. And I'm like, 100%. There's no chance this horse is racing the next race. I mean, what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, the idea of expanding the time frame between the races, certainly from a perspective of safety, and the horses are equine athletes, as they're referred to, is obviously really important. And also, look, I don't know what has changed philosophically from maybe 10, 12 years ago, but okay, you have the Derby, 20 horses. Now you got the Preakness, 8 horses. It just gets watered down. And a lot of the horses who possibly could have run in the Preakness, maybe not for the Triple Crown, but could have run, are saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'll come back for the Belmont. And so many horses that have won the Belmont in the years past have been horses that took a break in between the Derby and the Belmont. They didn't run in the Preakness. So, you never like to, in sports, and you've covered sports as a writer for a lot of time, Sean, you never like to see any record or anything with what? An asterisk next to it. So, if they space the races out, which makes sense on a lot of fronts, 4 weeks between the races, as you mentioned, to make it more palatable for the trainers, for the horses. The next Triple Crown winner that wins will have an asterisk, right? Beers on Me wins the Triple Crown. He's going to have Beers on Me, and they'll have an asterisk in the National Thoroughbred Hall of Fame up in Saratoga Springs, New York. I don't think your true longtime horse handicappers and veterans will really like that. But I think it makes for a better race. I think the order of the races should remain the same. The Preakness, then the Belmont. The Belmont typically is 1.5 miles. That's a marathon. And it used to be run at the old Belmont track, Big Sandy, they called it, because that's a deep, slow track. It was a tough race to win. Now, this year, again, the Belmont is being run in Saratoga. Tremendous. It's not going to be 1.5 miles because Saratoga doesn't have a 1.5 mile configuration on the track. So those are the thoughts about it. And it's going to continue to be debated, for a while. But yeah, I agree. It kind of stinks that there isn't the horse that won the Derby in the Preakness to give you that, let's go. And it's a shame. It takes away.
Yeah, look, I think people with the asterisks, the problem is, like, if you don't, if they don't change something, like, horse racing's already in trouble. I think, when you talk to some of these guys, Chris Garrity and some of the guys from Twitter who watch the show, and
sure.
There's a lot of tracks that are struggling right now, year round. If you don't have a casino right now, or you don't have something, you're in a lot of trouble. So, I think they need to do something to fix it. I think, I think, along with that, with this new calendar, you could space out these other races in August, Saratoga is whatever, but then, you could space these other races out, which they do, the Pennsylvania Derby and some of these Haskell and all this stuff, some of these other races. I think they do a pretty good job of that. So, I mean, you could really space them out, leading to this path to the Breeders' Cup, which is obviously a monster race in
Sure.
November, where you have these big races every 3 to 4 weeks, and there's always something to talk about. But
I think it gives, and you mentioned earlier what you were just saying, Sean. I'll comment on that regarding how horse racing is quote unquote dying or changing for the worse, not for the better. They're continuing. I have to follow up on the story to check on what's happening at Gulfstream Park, because they're doing some kind of decoupling where they want to take that apart, because the casino is there because of the track, and they're trying to change it. They're probably going to think about trying to build some homes where the track is, and that would be terrible. What was interesting, one of the things that I did find out about the Derby, although watching that show Chasing the Crown on Netflix, my favorite guy, and I was never a Phillies fan, is Jason Worth. He's just so. Did you watch it, Sean?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to watch
You
it.
got to check it out. It's a great show.
Yeah.
But Jason Worth is on almost every episode, especially the one where he's screaming when Dornick won the Belmont, and he's screaming, "Get on the rail! Get on the effing rail!" It's just he's so excitable. But anyway, my point was at the Derby, this year's Derby, again, as I approached my 65th birthday in July, getting a little older with understanding some of the social media aspects, there was a social media influencer who had like 1 million TikToks, 1.2 million Instagram followers, and he was being followed by all his followers at the Derby. I can't think of the guy's name, but it was kind of cool because there was a lot of exposure. NBC even interviewed him and talked to him. So that was kind of cool. And they're doing this cool thing. Also, they're doing like a jockey. They're just starting to put it together. It's like a fantasy jockey where it's almost like Live for the golf league, where except they're not separating them. These jockeys are going to have like a fantasy thing where these certain races are going to build up to their, hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. It's like a fantasy jockey league. You look it up and read about it. It's going to be pretty cool where, you can pick who your jockeys are and sign up. And if they win this race, they get that many points. Again, they're doing that strictly to attract some younger audience to horse racing to make it more fun, more palatable, more exciting, Sean. I have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think there's, it's an interesting period. Obviously, there's going to be some changes, but look, it is what it is. The Derby, the Preakness field. There's going to be another. I think Journalism's favorite. There's going to be another horse, maybe that, or obviously another horse that gets a chance to win a stakes race. So sure. That's important as well. So we have a big Slinky issue right now. Luke Slinky is all tangled up, and
that's big. We don't want a Slinky issue, Sean. We got to take care of that,
Luke,
brother.
Come on, Luke. Show him your Slinky. Luke. Show him your Slinky. Show everybody. Come on. Show him.
Luke's face out later.
Show him your Slinky. Here. Show him your Slinky.
I got a new one.
Nice.
I got a new one. That's all right.
All right, Sean.
So
but Sean, you're going to be away now. So let's.
Yes, I'm going to London. I'm going to go watch Manchester United win the beat Chelsea. I'll watch West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and then I'm going to go watch Manchester United kick Tottenham's ass in the Europa League final. So,
all right. Well, you enjoy it. Be safe.
My mouth to God's ears. So we will.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks, but obviously Fred will be here. So make sure you keep.
Yeah, I'll be here. We'll put our let him run review and preview. We'll review what happens today. Hopefully with some good things. I kind of have a good feeling, and we'll preview what's coming up next week at Gulfstream Park, and even talk a little bit about the Preakness as well. So we will be on the Capital Sports Network on Thursday at 8 p.m. and then on Saturday morning again at 12:30, possibly with our man Jim Morrison. Correct?
Jim Williams.
Jim Williams. Sorry. Jim Morrison.
Kobe Eckel. Jim Morrison's here. This better be the biggest podcast of all time. I heard he's a big horse guy, so we'll see.
All right.
Some people think Jim Morrison turned into Rush Limbaugh, but that's a show for the Conspiracy Channel. So,
all right, Sean.
We'll see you next time.
Good to see you, Sean. Have a great day, bud.